Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm also wondering, the more I'm able to hear as time goes on, if I'm going to realize, wow, I've got really sloppy speech.
So it's 2 days before the procedure. How are you feeling about that?
I am very nervous. Very nervous. I'm a little bit nervous about the surgery itself. And then I'm nervous about the healing process. They're going to there'll be a slit right behind my ear, and it'll be glued shut. So I'm nervous that it's going to hurt a lot. I'm nervous about what it's going to be like a month from now when we actually fit the cochlear apparatus onto my head and turn it on for the first time.
Do you think that it'll be worth it in the end? Like, are you a little bit excited about it?
Yeah, I am very excited about it. I think I'm going to have to work very hard at training my brain how to listen with the cochlear implant. And I think I'm going to get very frustrated a lot. But I think if I work hard and don't give up, then it'll be worth it.
How much do you think that your hearing will be increased?
I hope it'll go up to 85% at least.
And what is it at now?
About 50%.
50% with the hearing aid or without the hearing aid?
With the hearing aid.
What is it without?
More like 25%.
So, are you really excited about like maybe a year from now when hopefully you will have adapted to the cochlear ear implant and you can hear in things that maybe you couldn't before?
Yes, I am excited about that. I'm also nervous about hearing the things that I didn't hear before. Such as when the kids are bickering and I never could really quite make it out what they were saying because sometimes my kids would not let me read their lips. And instead of talking, they would be like, and I knew they were saying something bad, but...
To be fair, there were some times when we were talking about like what to get you for your birthday, and that was helpful, but other than that...
Yeah, but there have been other times too.
Well, that'll be over now.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. I'm really hoping that this gives me a lot more ability to hear.
How do you think your friends will react to it?
Honestly, I think that maybe some of my friends will assume that the minute I get the implant turned on, that I'll be able to hear everything.
How much do they know about the surgery?
Unless any of them have gotten online to read up on it, probably not very much.
Have you not talked to them about it?
I have talked to some of my friends about it. Some of my old friends I haven't really talked to about it. It's kind of, that's interesting. It just hasn't really come up. I don't know. I think that if I'm able to get to the capacity of being able to hear 85% of what's being said instead of 45 and 50%, I think even then I may miss the mark on a few things. some people will get annoyed that I'm still missing out on a few things. I'm not saying my friends per se. My real ones will always understand.
I think it won't really be that big of a deal. The people that I have talked to with cochlear ear implants, when looking at the people around them, it seems that people pick up on it, especially because it's more visible. And how do you feel about that, it being more visible?
I don't think it'll be as visible as the ones that were done 10, 15 years ago were. Because the one from 10 or 15 years ago, it was very, very big and very prominent. And mine's going to be right behind my ear. And it's actually going to be, I actually get to pick the color. I picked gray. Well, my hair is gray. I'm not going to dye my hair anymore. And it will blend in quite a bit. But I do remember seeing some people who had it white on top, and it was very big and bulky. This one is the smallest one that's ever been produced. It only came out 2 years ago. If they see it, they see it. But when I was a little girl, I had to wear something called a phonic ear. It was basically a hearing aid about this size, and I had to wear it right here. And I had wired headphones going from it to my ears, and the teacher would wear a microphone, and so I could just tune out the rest of the class and just hear her. And kids were always staring at me with that. Whenever I was wearing that, it'll be a little bit like that again. But one thing is, you pretty much figure out who has a problem with it and who doesn't. I've always called my hearing aids my bullshit indicator, because I could always tell when somebody noticed, oh, she has hearing aids, and they would immediately withdraw from the friendship making process. And you could always tell who the good friends were going to be, because they would notice it, it didn't bother them, they moved on, and we became good friends. So yes, my cochlear implant will probably stick out a little bit more, stand out a little bit more than my hearing aids behind my ears do, but so be it.
How do you feel about getting into the smaller details? How do you feel about shaving the side of your head?
I'm going to match my daughter, Mackenzie. Maybe I'll shave the other side too. I don't know.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yes. I'm also wondering, the more I'm able to hear as time goes on, if I'm going to realize, wow, I've got really sloppy speech. We'll see.
People have mentioned to me before that you have an accent. I don't notice it. It's more like a where is she from kind of thing, instead of a why does your mother speak like that? So I think, personally, I think your speech has been impeccable. I mean, obviously, 4 of your children who have lived in your house for the past 18 to 11 years, we all have great speech. So I would say, like, if we learned from you.
I took speech therapy growing up for 15 and a half years. And then I stopped when I was 17, because by that point I was fed up, and I figured this was as good as it was ever going to get. But when I got to college, there were a couple of good friends of mine who came up to me and said, if only you would do speech therapy, you would just sound so much better. At that time I thought, oh wow, okay, they're doing me a really big favor telling me this. I'd go off and leave them, and started thinking about it and realizing, but I did speech therapy for 15 and a half years. This is as good as it gets. maybe it's not good enough for them. And if my speech isn't good enough for them, then maybe I'm not good enough for them. Or maybe they're just not good enough for me.
It's great. We've lived in many different places where people have had many different accents. We've lived in Arizona and Washington and California, where the accent is totally different. And then we moved to Berlin, where people had German accents, or there were international students with like Canadian accents or French accents, and now we're here where you have Egyptian accents and you have Arabian accents, and then you have random Denmark accents. I don't really notice it anymore, and because we're so international, I feel as though people in the military, which are who you are mainly friends with, I feel like nobody notices it, or it doesn't really matter. You can still tell jokes, so that obviously puns are the most important thing in life.
Puns, yes. Yes, puns are great. So yeah, so I have a lot of work ahead of me, but it's a start. Right?
Right.